everybody. I'm Cheryl Jackson, and welcome to another heart-to-heart discussion. Tonight, we're going to be talking with the Prince George's Community College, and I love this because we're going to be talking about the Workforce Development Program. And, you know, coming out of this pandemic, people need jobs and people need to be ready for them. And so I love that Prince George's Community College is at the helm of that. Our special guest tonight is Dr. Yvette Snowden. She's the Associate Vice President of Workforce Development and Continuing Education. So welcome tonight to the Heart-to-Heart discussion.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for allowing us to be here. It certainly is our pleasure. And I also want to thank you and Praise 104 for being a voice to inform, encourage, uplift, and support the community throughout what has been a very challenging time. But we're looking ahead for a much brighter future. So again, thank you for having us here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm excited about our discussion tonight. We also have Denise Ware-Jackson. She's the Chair and Associate Professor of Wellness, Culinary Arts, and Hospitality. How are you?
I am well. Thank you, Cheryl, for having us. We're definitely excited about these opportunities to speak with you tonight.
We know the pandemic hit really, really hard. But before we even jump into the discussion, I really want to welcome our guest, right? So welcome to all of our viewers who's on tonight on Facebook, on our YouTube page, who's watching from praisedc.com and myspiritdc.com. Thank you guys so very much. Now, this is an interactive conversation, and we want to make sure that that what we're saying, you're getting it. So if you have questions, you have comments, we want to hear from you. Just go ahead and put it in your comments, and we'll address it during our conversation tonight. Now, the pandemic has hit really, really hard with the economy. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people don't know how to start over. A lot of people, you know, don't know where they can begin. But I believe the Workforce Development Program at Prince George's Community College can help us with that. So through the pandemic, you guys have positioned yourself to support the local workforce in Prince George's County. Dr. Snowden, tell us how you've done that.
Okay, thank you so much for asking. Well, you know, like everyone else, in March of 2020, we went remote and initially thinking, okay, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. We'll, you know, move things online. But as we see now, what, a year, almost and a half later, that situation certainly evolved. So initially, our efforts were around ensuring that we could make sure that we were offering our classes remotely, continuing to provide support services for students as they were going through challenging times and pivoting. As the conditions evolved and as we began to think about, and as we're looking forward to coming out of the pandemic, and getting back to an semblance of normal, we really wanted to begin thinking about, okay, how can we support getting people back to work? How can we support getting employers, the employees that they need to run their businesses and reopen their businesses? And how can we help individuals that may have lost their jobs, or some of which will be replaced, some of them maybe not? How can we help them move into, and I say jobs, but I really mean career pathways that are going to help them emerge hopefully stronger even after this pandemic has ended. So there, you know, several initiatives that we've been working on, and really these initiatives that are designed to connect people to in-demand jobs that pay at or above median wages, particularly for entry-level workers or workers who are increasing their ability to earn more money, either by moving into different careers, advancing in a career that they're in. One initiative I'd like to share with you and your audience is Prince George's Community College is one of 6 community colleges from across the nation that were selected to develop 3 pathways that lead to the occupations or careers, as I said before, in jobs that pay at or above median wage or lead to careers that folks can earn a living wage. Because it's one thing getting back to work, but the other thing, we want to make sure that folks are earning money to support themselves, support their families, and grow and prosper. So the college is in the process of developing micro-credential pathways that lead to credentials and/or certifications across 3 primary pathways, although we do offer licensure, certification, and training in other areas of workforce development. But these pathways related to this initiative are in healthcare, culinary arts, and IT.
I got to tell you personally, my son has gone through the workforce development program at Prince George Community College, and I'm really, really proud of him. He's 27 now. He's an entrepreneur. He's doing well. He's got 2 kids. He's just really doing an exciting, his path really started there. And so it really showed him that, he could do it, right? And he's gotten certifications and able to continue his career and has set, a whole healthy, environment for his family, doing home improvement, HVAC, and a number of things that he's learned during workforce development. So I've got to say, personally, thank you. So I do know the program worked. Daryl Farley. Hey, Daryl Farley. He's on tonight and he's watching us on Facebook. He says, excited to see you all. Cassandra Greer says, what suggestions would you have for new graduates? Because I know people are coming out of high school and trying to figure out what path they want to take. Also, coming out of college, some people don't even know the direction. They may need some more certifications after obtaining their bachelor's degree that they can do during the workforce development program, which is what my son did. So I know that it can work. So talk a little bit about that for graduates, some information that you have for graduates this year.
Oh, absolutely. So for graduates and for others, and I do want to thank you for sharing your experience with your son, because, and I'll tell you, this is like a bone pick with me when people say, well, maybe college isn't for me. I would beg to differ that college is for everyone. We have programs that meet you where you are. For, as you mentioned, your son coming to the college to take up a trade or a skill, I would suggest for anyone, and we have our websites that are ticking across the bottom of the screen, to go through and explore the various workforce development programs. As the 3 that I highlighted are 3 among many, and we offer licensure programs that lead to licensure, certification, training in occupations where one may need a credential to enter the field, or they may need a credential that will allow them to grow or move and advance in the field. So if you refer to our website and look at, we've got programs that are available in IT, as I said, healthcare, culinary arts, construction, trades, just across the board. So I would encourage folks to go to the website and check those. I think in terms of looking at entering the workforce, really a lot of jobs are really requiring more than a high school diploma. Right. And so we want to make sure that you're looking at programs that do lead to licensure or certifications that can lead to entry into a pathway if you have no experience, because those licensure or credentials can help one become more marketable in the job market.
Absolutely. I mean, and you're right. So you can have your 4-year degree. You could be working, in government since high school or whatever, but you may need a few more certifications. And I love it that it's offered at Prince George's Community College. Tell us more about, Dr. Snowden, about the Governor Emergency Education Act funding and recovery for the economy, livelihoods, industries, entrepreneurs, and families. You talked a little bit about that during the COVID-19 pandemic, but talk about that particular Relief Act and funding.
Okay, good. And I'm so glad you said that. One of the, and I would say bright spots in the midst of a pandemic, but definitely devastating time. You know, there's been a great deal of focus on workforce development and understanding the impact that the pandemic and COVID-19 have had on many folks, again, as I mentioned before, have lost their jobs. Many of them are starting to return to work now. So through the governor's Emergency Educational Relief Act, funding was provided to community colleges, and Prince George's College received funding through the governor's Emergency Education Relief Act.
I know that's a tongue.
That's a mouthful for sure, but we call it GEAR for short.
Okay.
Okay, and through that act, we did several things, or the act was designed to do several things. And I would say one is to provide a direct aid to students to help with scholarship support, to help individuals who may need some financial support in terms of taking classes that lead to licensure or certification in these occupations. Additionally, it enabled us to enhance or support some of our workforce programs in a way to provide short-term credentials that can be completed over a short period of time that allow individuals to get back to work or to get credentials quickly so that they can get back to work. These programs are developed in concert with employers. We also were able to purchase equipment that would allow us to provide more experiential learning opportunities for students through the use of virtual reality and modifying our curriculum so that these new emerging methods of instruction and delivery that really mimic what's going on in the workplace can be provided in the classroom. And the main focus behind the funding that has been received is to help people earn short-term, participate in short-term training, earn credentials, and get to work quickly. Mm-hmm. So each of the credentials we're looking, when I say short-term, we're talking about credentials that can be earned in a year or less. Mm-hmm. So that we're not, that may be less than a degree, but they're more than a high school diploma. And they're credentials that we work in tandem with employers to develop to ensure that we're focusing on the skill sets that they want to see in their workforce when folks graduate from these programs. And Denise will talk about more specifically for some of the programs that we're working on. But yes, we were so excited, very excited with what the governor's funding has allowed us to do as it relates to, as I said, student support through scholarships. And again, for more information on that, and in terms of applying, students can go to www.pgcc.edu/GEAR, and that is spelled GEER.
Right, so, and you see it strolling at the bottom of our feed so that you guys can find out more information about that. It's so good to hear that, because you hear oftentimes about government programs and you never know where it goes, right? You never hear about how it's helping and what it's doing in our community. And so it's really good to hear that money has hit. And, my daughter's attending Bowie State University, so I see where some of the funding is actually making a difference. And I love that it's also reallocated here for the Workforce Development Program at Prince George's Community College. So Denise, beyond preparing students to work in the hospitality and culinary industry, what other ways are these programs supporting students?
One of the things that we found that during the pandemic, everyone was sitting at home and eating. And as we know, in Prince George's County and the surrounding areas, we are not best at taking care of our health. And so we decided, let's utilize these opportunities and create healthy cooking classes. And in partnership with American Heart Association, we were able to develop these classes in the curriculum and to offer a 5-week training for individuals to teach them some great tips about healthy cooking. But also at the same time, we know that some of them will be transitioning into a new work workplace or career and returning into the workplace. So we wanted to make sure we had the skills training in it as well. So students are learning simple things like knife skills. So something that they can use at home, but also in the workplace. So we purposely designed our curriculum to make sure it has a great balance for both professional and personal.
Mm-hmm. And something about the hospitality community, even during the pandemic, people wanted to get away. They wanted to go to hotels. They wanted to. So even though they have scaled back a bit on what they normally would do in hotels, and a lot of folk was using catering to make sure that they can maintain cooking, because now we back at home all day. We're not cooking, so we got caterers coming in, creating virtual events and that kind of thing. So hospitality, I think, was a really big market that kind of tried to find its way even in the midst of the pandemic. So I think it's a field that that will work either way. And I love that you guys are developing and building more people who are interested in those areas. It's big money in the hospitality business.
It truly is, as a product of the hospitality industry in Prince George's County. I love talking about it because people don't understand what that industry can give you as a long-term career. I have an ongoing joke that I make just as much as lawyers and doctors without the student loans, because I worked my way up in the industry and was able to build a great career and then transition over to the college. So it's a really good industry that, again, we learn how to pivot. We learn how to, regroup and recover, and we serve from the heart. So I think it's important that now people really get an insight of what hospitality means and what we do.
Culinary arts too. We're starting to see more African American chefs, a lot of people building businesses. I actually love this generation who steps out to say, I want to create my own business. I want to create my own way. We're starting to see that with the rise of social media, of them using those platforms. My niece just launched a new coffee company. She did her research during the pandemic and launched it during the pandemic. And I think that these programs at the Workforce Development Program at Prince George's County will help us with that, will walk us through those processes of how to start businesses and how to build. And like you said, it doesn't have to be a 4-year institution for you to get the certifications you need, to get those credentials that you need for the particular career path that you want to take. So let's talk about affordability, right? 2 babies in college, to have some growth to Prince George's Community College. I can attest. Let's talk about affordability. Are scholarships available for students that are interested in these programs?
Yes, and I can attest too, because I've not now. I've had 2 that have gone through college, so I truly understand. But yes, we do offer scholarships for programs, for the short-term programs that lead to licensure or certification. There are various deadlines that cover for spring, which we're in spring session now, which we're going into summer session, summer and fall. So all of the information can be found if going to the website, www.pgcc.edu/gear, GEER, and all of the information on deadlines, award amounts, and the various scholarship programs that are eligible can be found there, along with the application. And I would encourage folks to apply and go check out as soon as possible and quickly, because certainly they are available as long if on a first come first served basis. And we want to make sure that as many folks as possible have an opportunity to take advantage of these scholarships that are available. And I did want to go back to one thing you touched on, if you don't mind.
No, sure.
You talked about the student interest in entrepreneurship. You are so correct. One of the activities through the Growth Engine Fund, we did a student focus group and talking to students, and so many of them are really interested in looking at ways to capitalize on their skill sets, and looking at how to create businesses and do their own thing as it relates to whatever their passion is. Right. So it could be, as you said, in culinary, hospitality, it could be IT, but really, you're right. This in this age, students and others have a real interest in doing that. And we have other programs at the college through the Innovation Hub and Center for Entrepreneurial Development that offer opportunities for students to participate in activities that would help them in developing and the prototype and models, design, prototype, and test their ideas for businesses. So I would certainly encourage those who aspire to open their business to definitely look at how you leverage what you learn in programs in terms of starting your own business.
You're right. I mean, they putting us to shame, I think.
I know.
They're not afraid to step out and try it. And they're, with the age of social media, they're able to brand themselves. I mean, it literally makes me step up, like seriously step up my game with regards to branding yourself and creating your own pathway. And I love it because the Workforce Development Program and Prince George's Community College can help you along the way with what you need to do to obtain your licenses, to do all the things that you need to do to help you get on this path, right? And even how to market yourself and how to build your brand. I'm telling you, my son went through Workforce Development Program. He took various courses there and was able to really find the path for himself and become, self-sufficient. And so I think that, and I know that we hate the term college isn't for everybody, but he wasn't one to like school, right? He was right to, because when we were talking about what you want to do after high school, what you want to do after that, he wasn't readily wanting to go to a 4-year university, but he did want to find higher education. He wanted to find a path. And I really I toot the horn there at Workforce Development because I saw firsthand what it did, right? And I'm just super proud of him, from learning what he's learned and taking that and just growing his brand. So listen, there we are. I was going to say, if you have a comment, if you're listening or watching wherever you are there any adjunct teacher positions available? That's a really good question because we're talking about students. But Gloria Belton says, I might be trying to be a teacher.
There you go.
On that payroll. Talk a little bit about that.
And I would say we are always looking for, good faculty. We're looking for folks that have a passion to teach, a passion to lead, and a passion to support others in their growth. And I would suggest for those interested in adjunct opportunities to, again, visit the college's website, pgcc.edu, and look at employment for the opportunities that are available. Because the one thing I would say when we talk about workforce development, and I would say it really all is workforce development. I don't know any student who goes to college to be a professional college student. Now, there might be a few, but for most, going to college, whether it's continuing ed, whether you're going through a degree program, at the end of that rainbow, ideally there's a job paying for you, or a job waiting for you, or a career, more likely than not. So, but yes, we're always looking for faculty who are passionate to help students navigate through this process.
That's awesome. So if you're watching on Facebook, you're watching on YouTube, or even from our website, if you have a comment, we want to hear from you. If this is good for you, we want to hear from you as well. Let us know that we're doing a great job with giving you the information that you need with regards to the Workforce Development Program at Prince George's Community College. All the information you need is right there on this banner. So you can check it out. Go to the website, find out more information how, as Dr. Snowden said, you can be employed there, or just go as a student to pgcc.edu and start researching. And thank God, take advantage of this money that the governor has sent to Prince George's Community College. Now, how can students apply for GEAR and the Healthy Cooking Certificate course, Denise?
Okay, so applying for the GEAR funds, again, go to the tag that's at the bottom, pgcc.edu GEAR. And also, we also put up the tag for the healthy cooking classes. So just go on there and apply, and we are ready. The next cohort starts July the 6th. So come on, get in, and definitely be a part of the wonderful things that we're doing here at Prince George's Community College.
Man, take advantage of that. If you love cooking, if you love nutrition, if you love, because now you're finding more people who are, finding specialties that they're doing in culinary. You have those that are doing gluten-free foods now. You've got folk that are finding recipes and they're doing, you can build that and make that your brand, because people like me are looking for stuff like that.
Well, since you mentioned that, we're creating in the fall workshops to really talk about the gluten and allergies, because again, it's one thing to know how to prepare healthy meals, but you also got to be mindful of what your body will allow you to intake.
That's good.
And so we want to make sure that we start developing these mini workshops to educate the community, because again, we are workforce development, but we also have strong partnerships with our community at large.
Now that's really good, because that's the truth. That's the truth, because everything's not working for everybody. And now you're starting these gluten-free foods and you may have allergy.
Exactly.
Get educated. And that's what this, all of this is really all about, is expanding your knowledge, expanding your career brand, become more marketable, right? Because you could be working in government and you've kept back because you don't have a certificate, or you don't have some type of associate's degree or something that will associate with what you're doing in your career path. Prince George's Community College is the place to go to do that while you're working. You can still get that done. Are your classes still virtual even for the spring, for the summer, or are we going back to in-person classes now?
So
we are. Go ahead, Denise.
So we have started a mixture of face-to-face, hybrid, and remote classes in our online platform, and we will continue that in the fall as well. Our fall semester starts August 2021. And the campus will be open, so we're ready to get back to business.
And I think as conditions, they're evolving, it seems almost daily. And as conditions continue to evolve, the college will as well. So for some of our continuing ed courses and programs, we're looking at how we start bringing more of them back over the summer. There will be offerings as well as over the fall. We look forward to having people back in class and back in training programs. So, registration for summer and fall is open now. So, the location and the modality in which courses are offered are listed there. So please just go on the website and be sure to look at that. We are ready, our faculty, our staff, we're ready to get back to seeing people in person.
I am excited too. And to diverse a little bit from workforce development, right before the pandemic, you guys had opened a beautiful state-of-the-art performing arts center. Working in performing arts, so me working in entertainment and media, when I tell you that facility is so impressive. So impressive. So I know that you're looking for students who want to expand and working in theater and the administration of theater, working in digital platforms there. I mean, it's so amazing. Can we just talk a little bit about that? I know we're diverting, but we got a few minutes. Still waiting on I think that facility is amazing.
That entertainment part is part of our workforce development, because even as the hospitality industry, they have that entertainment segment, because again, you have your venues, MGM has a whole entertainment center. So students can learn those skills in lighting and design and all of that wonderful things. We have a whole communications department. So it's not off limits. So let's talk about it and know that Prince George's Community College is ready to serve those students of that population. And that's the great thing about what we do here at the college.
And then I would also say is that the other thing that we look at in terms of our programming, are we really look at, and I would, encourage others to look at transferable skills. That oftentimes individuals think in terms of, I'll say way back in the day when I was in school, you start thinking about, well, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a lawyer, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. But, there are so many skill sets that are transferable across occupations that because you go to school to be this, that does not necessarily mean that's where, you're going to be forever. Right. So when you look at, as we were talking about, hospitality, culinary, and you transition across to entertainment, theater, there are skill sets that are transferable across occupations. There's certifications. You think about the IT field. Yep. Every industry has an information or IT component. Technology undergirds everything. So just because you're an IT person does not necessarily mean you're only going to be working in IT. You may be working in IT in a nonprofit. You may be working in IT for culinary. You may be
for radio.
IT, right, for radio. You may be working in IT for healthcare. So, that's why the getting those licensure certification, getting that advanced training is really gonna help. And when we talk to employers, they do want they want to hire employees that can add value to their organization. So, as you're thinking of that, how do you add value, increase your skill set, take the training, get the certifications that, one, make you marketable and allow you to add value to employers.
Wow, that's so good. So Beverly Castrina says, it's been a minute since I was in school. Is it ever too late to go back and get my degree? Let me share this story before you guys.
You're all excited about that question, right? We all want to tackle that one.
Right, we all want to tackle that one.
Let me share this story. It was so interesting that she would put that just this Sunday. Sarita Jakes, Bishop T.D. Jakes' wife, she testified about getting her bachelor's degree. She just completed her bachelor's degree at 65, right? So she jumped into having her family and, first lady, her husband, this big mega pastor, and she's written books and everything, but she's glad to go back to school. And she announced on Sunday she just obtained her bachelor's degree. Now that's inspiration. Isn't that amazing?
That is absolutely.
She wanted to complete that, right? And and it's in education. So, she wanted to be able to be a viable portion of their education component at the church. And so now she's got her degree, her bachelor's degree in education.
Good for her.
Keep going. And she's 65. So to answer your question, Beverly, no. But
we would say a resounding no.
It is never, ever too late.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Do it for yourself, do it for whatever reason, but never stop in believing that you can obtain it. Whether it's your associate's degree, a certificate, your bachelor's, your master's, whatever it is you want to achieve, just go for it. My mom was 65 years old when she went back to school.
Wow.
And so I share that because it is important no matter how old you are, because we've been conditioned to think, college degree is only for after you get out of high school. No, I was 39 when I went back and got my degree after working in the hospitality industry. So it's never too late.
It never is. And my father, who is 82 actually, got his doctorate at 78. So it is never, ever too late to go back to school, and as Denise said, do it for you primarily, and you'd be surprised at the benefit that comes to you as a result.
And, I want to say too, as we age, we want to be up on technology. We want to be up on, don't have to call on our grandkids who are scrolling through stuff at 3 and 4.
Right.
How to operate tablets and all of that. We want to be able to stay on top of technology, especially if whatever it is that you're doing in your field, if you've been doing it a long time. I know in communications, we're always evolving, always learning new software, always learning new ways. Don't limit yourself by saying I'm too old to learn it.
Absolutely not.
And one other point too, as an adult learner, you've worked, so you're bringing some of these skills to your learning. So you'll be surprised when you get in that classroom and be like, oh, I know how to do that because I do it on my job and I've done it in the past. So it becomes very relevant for you as an adult learner.
And what we also find too, adult learners in the classroom, not only does it enhance their learning, but they provide they're a benefit to other students in the class.
They become a mentor.
By sharing their experiences and so forth. And I would say for a lot of our continuing ed courses and courses where individuals are getting a license or a credential, they really are not, they're older students. And when I say older, they're not right out of high school necessarily.
Let's talk a little bit about job placement, about the workforce development and your ability to help with job placement.
At Prince George's Community College, we have a career center that has a career central network. We partner with employers that provide opportunities for students to, gain interviews, gain experiential learning opportunities that we hope leads them into employment. So we definitely have great connections with employers and in employment services that help support students moving into jobs.
That's good. Denise, did you want to add to that?
Yes, I just wanted to say we do a really great job with partnering with our industry subject matter experts to make sure that they're part of our curriculum and the certifications that we look at. And so they have a voice at the table, and also letting us know they'll reach out to us and say, hey, I need this and we want to recruit your students. So using that College Central network platform is a great way for the community, students, and industry partners to really connect without trying to maneuver their way throughout the whole college. So we have that one central location.
I heard you talk about MGM. Is that a community partner with the Performing Arts Center?
It is a community partner with the college as a whole, because again, they do so much more. So we have the hospitality component, we have the casino component, but we also have those other components because again, this is an industry where it's not just closed off to one career path. It leads to many. So we have various partners such as MGM that also work with our foundation where they have donated funds for scholarships, and we have the culinary program and things of that nature that they really have been supported.
And I know you have the health field. So now we have the new University of Maryland Medical Center right there.
Absolutely.
So partnerships with them as well, and to work on the health aid areas, I guess.
Exactly. So you have Kaiser that we work with the foundation with. We have Care First. We have American Heart Association. There are so many, and our own Prince George's County Council. We have a lot of partnerships in the industry because I truly believe that it takes businesses, education, and all of us to work together in the community to really provide the services that we need.
I know that when you're talking about affordable education, some great paths to take, especially if students want to complete their bachelor's degree, is to go through community college first, get the associate's degree, and then get your bachelor's degree. That will save you a lot of money. And you're still getting your general ed, you're still getting all of the educational needs that you need for the first 2 years of college. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, we definitely offer opportunities for students to, create create to complete the first 2 years of their degree program and transfer to a 4-year institution. We have articulation agreements with several colleges through several programs where those credits that students earn at the community college level or at the 2-year level will transition into a 4-year. We also have programs which you may be familiar with that are dual pathway or dual enrollment programs that allow students who are in high school to complete their high school diploma and their associate's degree at the same time. So when they graduate, they are coming out of high school, not only with a high school diploma, but with also an associate degree.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean they go to high school a half day and then come to Prince George's Community College a half day? They split the program? And
actually, we have like the Academy of Health Sciences, where students take all of their classes on Prince George's Community College.
Wow.
So they're taking their high school and their college classes at Prince George's Community College. We have other dual enrollment programs that in, the IT field and in other areas that allow the same thing. So in essence, the students, they're not splitting their day. They're participating in a full day that combines their high school and college training. So at the end of the 2 years, they come out with a high school diploma and a college degree. And that is really exciting to see at commencement. It really is to see students who in the morning, may get their high school diploma and then in the evening
come and
get their associate's degree. So that's really exciting.
Awesome. That's awesome. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on our website, if you have comments or questions that you have for these ladies, they've got some great information with regards to Prince George's County Community College and the Workforce Development Program. You see the partnerships that they have with all of our surrounding organizations. Denise mentioned, she mentioned MGM, and she mentioned the hospital, and she mentioned Kaiser and some of the other partnerships where you can jump in. And if you have a student that's excelling in high school, they can do this dual program that Dr. Stephen talked about. I think that's a great time to really look into that now as we're approaching the fall semester. Now, is there anything else? I don't want to end early because I do want to give people opportunity to ask questions, but is there anything else that we should touch on that I haven't already touched on? And I can pull information and questions from that.
Okay. One of the things I want to talk about is what we're doing in the community when it comes to food insecurities.
That's good.
Because it's important that we address that, and we here at Prince George Community College want to let everyone know we're doing our part. So last September, we had a food distribution day where we partnered with Catholic charities, and it was all a grant-funded funds in order for us to do this, and we were able to serve over 1,000 families. And so we're going to continue to do projects like that, some smaller, some larger. We're also developing a partnership with a local farmer so that not only are we doing the educational component, but we're also doing the community component of what we do here under workforce development and continuing education as well.
Let's talk about food insecurity real quick before we go to you, Dr. Snowden, because people may not understand that in certain communities, there are food insecurities, right? So you can go into certain communities that are Black and brown people, and you won't see produce. You won't see good produce. You won't see good grocery stores. You won't see, fresh produce and, great meats and stuff like that. Now, I'm a big proponent of the Dutch markets, Amish markets, because you see the difference. And if you go in certain zip codes, you don't see that. You don't see the fresh produce. You don't see the fresh bread, and they're not inexpensive when you go into the other zip codes, right? And so now you're finding people in those challenged areas eating out of carryouts and fast foods, and the grocery stores are not stocked with the foods that they need. And then you're finding now more health disparities, right? I love that you brought up food insecurities in certain markets. And I love that Prince George's Community College is involved in helping us, erase those insecurities in certain areas. Go ahead, Dr. Snowden. I just need to.
No, I'm glad you shared that, because Another initiative that we actually completed, I want to say in May, was a design challenge where students had an opportunity to use the design thinking process to design a solution to food insecurity. Some of them developed apps or created the prototype for apps that would enable that could be used as solutions for individuals who are faced with that. Meaning, one of the president, and I mean, it was so exciting seeing the students who had researched, what the barriers were to folks finding the adequate food sources. Some of it was, finding. Some of it was understanding what was comprised of a healthy diet, and then using that to design a technology-based solution, either some kind of app that would enable them to do that. And so 6 teams of students competed and created these solutions that would help resolve that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's so needed. And it's so good, again, that this generation of young people coming together
Mm-hmm.
and helping us erase food insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
And you would never connect that with education, right? Well, with Prince George's Community College, but I love how in certain areas you guys are really standing out to help with just community-based problems. And food insecurities is one of my pet peeves. Like, growing up in Northwest DC and knowing the difference in that 16th Street corridor than east of the river is really something that gets under my crawl. So I know that even in the state of Maryland that we see that in certain zip codes as well. So.
Exactly. And we want to continue to do our part. And that's why the healthy cooking classes, we also do live cooking shows. We want to make sure that we can change the narrative as much as possible. So that, and part of that is educating. And not only that, also the physical wellness and working out. So we have opportunity for people to take out. We just did a boot camp with a local partner where they did the boot camp with the physical fitness. Then he did a program on juicing. And what does juicing look like, and what's the importance of juicing? So we continue to build these partnerships and to provide these workshops and educational classes for the community to bring awareness, because we can take control over our health.
I love it. So again, you see the information scrolling on the bottom, pgcc.edu. We're talking about wellness. So you can / cooking wellness for what we're talking about now. But there are certain areas that you might be looking forward to going to Prince George's Community College with regards to whatever it is your expertise is, whether, it's in the health field, it's in hospitality, whether it's in education, whether it's in workforce. Again, they really do have a number of great labor programs that gives you your certifications, help you join these unions that you need to join, and really build your skill set so that you can be successful in society. I love what you guys are doing at Prince George's Community College. Dr. Snowden, is there something else you'd like to add?
I would just again say thank you so much for having us. And please, I would encourage everyone, check the website out. Again, as I said before, don't believe college isn't for everyone. College is for everyone. Yeah. There's something there that can either help you in terms of workforce, can help you, as Denise has described, in some of your personal goals. So please feel free to definitely check the college's website at www.pgcc.edu. And also, please go on the website and apply for the scholarships, look for the scholarship funding through GEAR, to support you in achieving workforce training or certifications and licensure. So Cheryl, thank you so much for having us on.
You're very welcome. And so I do want to ask, when you go onto the website, you can click on the various fields that they're interested in. Can they find information out based on whatever the career path they like to look into?
Yes, they can. They can absolutely do that. Look on and look at various, as I said, we talked about today, IT, healthcare, culinary, but we've got construction, we've got sustainable energy, we've got yes, so absolutely.
Awesome. Denise, would you like to add something before we close out?
I would. I just want to remind everyone that we are here to serve you. And so we
Mhm.
have all type of support services here for everyone, from veterans to individuals with disabilities. We're here to support you. So please reach out to us at Prince George Community College. We are ready to serve you.
I love that. This has been a great conversation. And thank you to all of our viewers and all of our listeners that's been watching on Facebook, on YouTube, and our PraiseDC.com website and MySpiritDC.com. We thank you for watching on all of those platforms. I thank you. I wanted to address any questions that you have. We'll give you a few minutes before we close out to ask any questions that you have. If not, we're going to go ahead and close out our session. I wanted to make sure we got all the information you guys wanted to share before we close out, and I think we did. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and close out here, if you guys don't mind, and we will again encourage everybody to go to pgcc.edu. That's pgcc.edu. Check out all of the program. Check out all of the different opportunities that Prince George's Community College has for you. I love it because I'm able to talk personally about the advantages that it's had in my family and what it's done. And I'm excited about the new performing arts facility. And hopefully I could get to work there some more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some things, and maybe even do some adjunct work there. But I really love what you guys are doing in the community. So I wanted to say thank you for choosing our station to get your information out. And we'll continue to talk about all of the opportunities there.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We look forward to it. Thank you for having us. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.